How you guys doing today? This is Darius from Down at TV. Welcome to the channel. So I wanted to go in here. I saw this whatever podcast situation where Jay Waller, who's a friend of Andrew Tate, a very close friend of Andrew Tate, basically was debating this Leela Ross. She's a Christian type of trad one wife type of content creator. So let's get into the sauce of this, and I'll break down because Jay Waller was actually getting frustrated, getting cooked a little bit. See, I agree with both of them. They were talking about multiple wives and things like that. And Jay Waller, because he was getting frustrated with her, really couldn't articulate and break it down to her that a man can have multiple wives. Scripturally, you can do so. But we're gonna let them talk, and then I'm gonna break down each way how I would have came at her, you know.
Justin, do you ever see yourself getting married?
No, not on paper. No, absolutely not. I believe in love and marriage and in regards to taking care of a woman fully and your responsibilities as a father and a provider and protector 100%. In fact, I think that's probably what's broken about the world. But in regards to letting the state get into all my businesses that took me over a decade to build, absolutely not, no.
Those are very
How do
smart.
you think you're gonna get to the place of that marriage you want with that family and that lifelong love that you just
I
talked
didn't
about?
say I didn't have family or children. I just
Oh,
said
I
I was running
see.
your business.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So
So you want to keep it private, is what you're saying?
that's
Yeah.
what I
I
said.
understand.
Do you?
Justin has enemies.
I might have multiple family.
Oh.
You never know. I might like family more than you. So much I have 5.
Do you think that's a good thing to have multiple families?
I think it's good if there's one dad and there's not a bunch of step parents involved and the dad can be the hero and those 5 families live a 10x better life than they would have otherwise. Yes, ma'am, I do.
But you don't think that it will be ultimately an opportunity for jealousy or disharmony amongst
Women
you?
are
So that's a common thing that many people, quote unquote, traditional trad people like to say. Men having multiple wives and kids will cause conflict within the household. See, the problem with that is the problem isn't necessarily having multiple families because there's many places in Africa and the Middle East where it's completely stable. The key to being able to have a successful family, having multiple wives and having a bunch of kids, is the man has to have full authority over his wife and his kids. If the man can't tell his wife what to do, and if your second wife's like, I don't like her, she should get out of here, or I'm calling the cops. See, when you involve the government in your household, conflict will happen. Naturally, the community protects and governs a household. The man is the head of his house. Long as he keeps his house in order and no one's involved, i.e. the government, then the home normally stays stable for the most part. Because if the woman is trained properly by her father and then by her husband, the woman shouldn't have these jealousies because she understands the man's nature. Men have a high sex drive. We want sex with a lot of women. To negate that, men have multiple wives.
always going to be
Families.
jealous. What's changed
I'm not
about that?
jealous in
Women
my
have been jealous
marriage.
all the way through time. So
I'm not jealous in my marriage.
Well, I don't care about your marriage. I'm talking about mine. Well, my life is going to be. So I don't answer to you. So that's my answer. I'm going to run my.
Justin was being very feminine in this frame. He was automatically frustrated with her, even though she's being respectful. I actually agree with her. It's not multiple wives is not for every man. It's not meant for every man. It's meant for men who have the means to take care of multiple women. Most men would be okay with one wife. Most men would be. They'll be okay if they had one good wife. The men who have the money and the means should be able to have at least like 3 or 4 different wives. Now they shouldn't be like King Solomon having 1,000 wives and 10,000 concubines, taking all the women from the average man. But men of means should be able to have at least 2, 3, 4 wives, at least, you know. Whereas the average man would be okay with having multiple wives. Jay Waller really messed up by being so triggered by her. That's because she hitting him in the spirit and he's being triggered by it.
Situation exactly how I want to. And generally, when I do that, that's when I have the most happiness, let's say, in my life. So that's all.
And you would want that for your daughters?
Yeah. Yeah, I live my life unapologetically on my terms. So if my daughters that are overly spoiled and educated in every way and have friends all over the world and world traveled in the best schools in the world, if they have a problem with me at the end of the day, then they can kick rocks too. I'm not going to simp for my daughters. I'll love them fully. But if they grow up and turn into a person that doesn't want to get in line with me, or look, here's my goal as a parent: teach my children how the world works, give them the skills so they can live on their own terms, and give them choice. If they choose not to make me part of their life after I've given them those things, I've still succeeded as a father.
But I guess I'm asking if you're comfortable answering, obviously, but are you wanting to be a role model for your kids? Is that part of
1,000%. A father should show up in every way for his children. I think I'll be better than most fathers, regardless of how many children I have. I might have 100.
But you think part of being a role model, it's okay for your kids not to know even your relationship status with their own mom?
They will know the relationship status.
And see, what she's trying to say is, oh, he's going to do the sneaky thing. No, you have all three of your wives in your house. Everybody's copacetic. It's all love. She's coming from the standpoint that women aren't going to like it, like the other women aren't going to like it. But in many households in Africa, Middle East, it's stable homes because the women know their place. The man is the head. She is to submit and obey, regardless of her emotional intent, her emotional state of being. Is very important.
With me and their mother.
But you have other relationships with other women too.
What does that have to do with anything?
But I'm just wondering if you think
I haven't even said that. I'm just saying, like, if I want to, I will.
He could have hit her. He could have told her, like, don't a lot of rich men have mistresses? Have not men of status had mistresses all throughout history, multiple wives? And she would have to answer yes. I'm like, well, it must be a natural thing to do. It would not being upfront instead of being sneaky, having 2 or 3 wives up front, wouldn't that be more stable?
But you don't think that's a problem for your daughter to know that about their dad? That he has multiple mistresses?
That's up to my daughter, man. You know.
But do you want your daughter to have a guy like that long term?
If he takes care of her in every way and she has a much better life because of it, yeah, I'm cool with that.
Wait, do you want to have 100 kids? Is that like low key?
I'm gonna have a bunch of kids. Yeah, I believe in having kids, man. So there's too many dumbass people having kids. Might as well have a smart person have some.
Dude,
he's correct. There's a lot of low IQ, retard people having kids. There's not enough white men like Jay Waller that promotes having a lot of kids. There need to be more white babies because a lot of these white guys aren't having kids. But the problem is the wife won't like it. You see, the number one problem is my wife won't like it. My wife won't let me. And so it's hard to have a family if you're not the head of the house, if you don't have a submissive, obedient woman. So the system is the main issue because men have no authority in their household. Now, Jay Waller has a lot of money and a lot of freedom to where the women have to get in line with him or he'll leave. So his situation is very unique and rare in men in America today because most men have no authority and say in their households because their woman controls and runs the household, unfortunately.